Hello and welcome to Schema App Live. My name is Jeffrey Burns, and today we're going to talk about starting with strategy. We're going to give you some of the background information and tools that you're going to need to develop a schema strategy for your business, your website, that will help deliver results for your business goals. Before we jump in, I just want to talk a little bit about schema.org as a vocabulary. So it defines entities and provides context about relationships between entities, and a way to visualize that for you is with my own knowledge graph. So there I am. My name's Jeffrey Burns. I'm a huge Toronto Maple Leafs fan. I'm an alumni of York University, and I work at Schema App, founded by Mark and Martha Van Berkel, and I volunteered for the Heart and Stroke Foundation. This is an example of a knowledge graph that could be similar for your business and explain exactly what it is that you do. So Schema App is a full service enterprise schema markup solution. We are trusted by hundreds of brands, and even our own process starts with strategy, because we know schema markup is complicated. Any of the collaborative consulting that we do starts with developing a schema markup strategy around business need. So that's why part one in this series is about starting with a strategy. So we're going to start at the start. What is schema markup? You may have heard of structured data. And just so you know, schema markup and structured data in the context of SEO mean the same thing. Google tends to use structured data. However, we at Schema App like schema markup. The reason is because it's more specific. But really, it's code that Google and other search engines just understand. The vocabulary is found at schema.org. There's about 800 different definitions. Those are class types that categorize entities or things. And each of those have 20 plus properties that further define them. And what that looks like is this. It's a bit like a web page for a dictionary. You can see that there's a thing, which is the class type. In this example, it's a cafe or coffee shop. And then there's properties that further define that entity. So this cafe or coffee shop could have a menu, could serve different types of cuisine. It probably has different star ratings. And when you implement this for your business, you'll end up with your own knowledge graph that tells your own story, so that search engines can understand what you do, what your brand offers, and leads to greater digital visibility. Now, all of this is giving you a little bit more control to manage your brand for a machine channel. Google actually said in 2019 that their intention here is to help you be found and to stand out across many different platforms. And in fact, they said they wanted to help digital marketers by allowing them to translate content just once through schema markup and then have that be found by all searches. I love that because it underlines that schema supports your content, and it gives you back some of the power to manage your brand across a machine channel. So now that you know that schema markup helps you be understood across all these different platforms, let's talk about what it is to actually stand out. And the key here are rich results. So there's 32 plus ways to take control of your brand. That's through rich results. And you can see on the left an example of a plain blue link. And then on the right, you have an example of an FAQ rich result. The key here is that pages that are eligible for rich results increase website traffic, increase conversions, and drive up that click-through rate. Some other examples of FAQ are the mobile results for that rich results for your products and star ratings, information that supports your product's pricing, video content, rich results for your events, and more. So now you might be wondering, what's the return on investment here? Like, why would I get involved in schema markup? And I have some case studies to show you the ROI of schema. So the fact is, markup yields tangible results that can help you tie the ROI back to revenue. With our enterprise customers, we've seen Schema have a positive impact across the customer journey. And it depends on your goals and what you're looking to impact or support, or what digital content are you looking to give a boost to. Some examples from our own clients. In this case, SAP is leveraging FAQ-rich results to answer questions about ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning. What I love about this is that SAP is now showing up in search at the very earliest part of the customer journey. So they're now showing up when people are doing their initial resource for the solution space that they're the experts in. The next example I'd like to highlight is for Keen Footwear. So our customer Keen, they have a small team that's responsible for global SEO, and they have big goals. So they require agility and efficiency, and implementing rich results on their product pages directly helped deliver a 20% year-over-year organic growth in traffic. Another case study is around Advent Health. Now, Advent Health needed to consolidate literally hundreds of websites across 35 plus different CMS platforms to bring everything under a single brand and a domain. Schema Markup helped mitigate that risk of an anticipated 25% drop in organic traffic in year one. Rebranding turned into an opportunity, though, to stand out in search and drive additional traffic to their website. Using Schema Markup, we informed search engines of the change prior to the rename, and we were able to mitigate the drop in traffic. As a result of digging into their content and applying Schema Markup, they were able to further realize the use of schema in their content and achieve rich results that actually increased the amount of visits to their site. Now, don't take our word for it. Google showcases their own case studies. Eventbrite boosted traffic by 100%, Rakuten increased time on site by 1.5x, ZipRecruiter grew conversion by 4.5x, and so on. And what I'm hoping that you can start thinking about is the goals for your business. What digital content do you have? What platforms is your brand on that can be improved? What does your goals look like? The key here is to align those business goals with a schema strategy. Define your desired outcome, and then you go from there. So with Zen Business, their goal was to show up in non-brand search. We matched their content that talked about the problems their clients are facing with schema that made them eligible for rich results. The impact was 100% increase in impressions and 64% increase in clicks. The content was already there. The Schema Markup helped Google understand the context of their solution space and their content. With Advent Health, their goal was to grow traffic after a rebrand and build trust and authority in their solution space. Now, most recently, they used Schema Markup to communicate information about their different health topics and achieve rich results for their physician profiles. And that resulted in a 90% increase in clicks and a 40% increase in impressions, and drove their click-through rate on average up 38%. SAP's desired outcome was to drive maximum value from SEO. And they did this by deploying markup to 4 million pages over 7 websites. The result is 400% net growth and bringing information to the users at all phases of the buying process. Our example earlier was showing you how we can mark up content to be eligible for an FAQ-rich result for those early topics that people are searching for when they're in the research stage of their buying process. Now, you need to be able to measure the results as well, and we'll be covering how to measure the impact or the return on investment of your schema markup in a later iteration of this series. But for now, the best place for you to look, just to say, is in Google Search Console. There's 2 places. First is the performance report that actually shows you, the graphs of your search appearances and how your website's performing. And then the second one is around maintenance. So you'll see some enhancement reports for the different rich result types that you're eligible for, and that can help you troubleshoot at scale your markup so that as many of your pages are eligible as possible. That Search appearance looks like this. So when you go to Search Console and you click that search appearance filter, you can actually see the clicks, impressions, click-through rate, the average rank for the different pages and their different rich results. Now, Schema app itself, I just want to say, has our performance analytics. This is new reporting from Schema app, and it helps answer all of those questions about what's the return on investment from my Schema markup. But I'd like to give you a practical guide on how to answer these questions for you and your business. How do you actually align business goals with a schema strategy? Like, what does that look like? It starts with knowing your customer journey and all the different types of content they might engage with throughout that funnel. Research and learning, product information, comparison shopping, online demos, training, news, events, webinars. What content do you have? How does it match up to your customer journey and your specific business goals? Do you need to increase non-brand traffic? Do you need to get more followers to your blog? Do you need to answer customer questions early on in the research process? Do you just need higher conversion on your products? Is your brand trying to be a leader in a solution space? These are just examples of how being specific with your goal can help impact the schema markup strategy that you implement. There are content questions that help identify the priority web pages where your schema will have the most impact. So now that you know what content you have and how it lines up with your goals, does it match up against the different ways Google surfaces your content, your information? So what rich results could you be eligible for? And then finally, do the reverse. What rich results does Google offer that you don't have content for? What are the opportunities to be shown in these unique, rich spaces that you're just leaving on the table? Because those become your next priority content to build. And finally, it seems pretty straightforward, but you just put it all together in one place. And I'm going to go through a functional, actual example with you right now. So our example is going to be Guelph Storm. The Guelph Storm are an OHL hockey team in Guelph, Ontario. And our first step is to identify key business concepts. So what are the important aspects of the business? What makes it unique? How do they make money? What information are customers looking for? What's the strategic focus of the business? And so for the Guelph Storm, as a sports organization, if you put your brand marketing hat on, they have hockey players. They put on hockey games. They make money by selling tickets and merchandise. They share content online. They have videos. They have news articles. They have status updates. All of these things are relevant to their brand. So let's catalog them. We have Guelph Storm, the name of the business concepts of players, tickets, news, products, alumni. And we're ready for step 2. What is it? And this can actually be one of the harder questions to answer when you're first engaging with schema.org. It can be a little overwhelming. And so you just have to ask the question, what is this thing? So Guelph Storm is the name of the business, but they're a sports team. And I actually recommend you go to that link, schema.org/docs/full.html, and look through that class tree. You can open it up and follow the different branches. And what you want to do is start with the most generic schema class, which is thing, and start following the branch that makes the most sense for the type of content that you have. So taking Guelph Storm again, they're not an action, creative work, intangible. They're an organization, but more than that, they're not a consortium. They're not a library. They're kind of a local business, sports organization. Okay, that's specific. And sports team. So by actually going through the class tree and looking, we can find a type that's relevant for the content that we have. And if you end up too deep in that branch, in that class tree, then you just stay at the level that makes the most sense. So we've gone ahead and done that for each of these. So the Guelph Storm is a sports team. The players are person or people. Hockey games are sports events. Tickets are a product. News is a blog posting. Merchandise are also product, and the alumni are relevant for person schema as well. The next most probably tactical step in our process here is where is it on the website? And the reason why you have to scope out the specific URL or subfolders of your domain that this content exists on is because we're going to be deploying eventually the schema markup code to those pages. So you have to call out where that code would be relevant for the type of content and schema type. So does the first question, does this content exist on your website? Did you identify a key business concept that isn't described on your website? If the answer is yes, is it on a specific page? If it doesn't exist, you need to create it on the site. Number two is identify what you want to be known for. Is there a key topic that you're not covering? Because then you need to create content for that as well. But ideally, you can match a URL to every key business concept and call out exactly what that concept is in the schema.org vocabulary. That's probably the biggest, heaviest lift in developing your schema strategy is potentially going through your thousands of pages and identifying where the opportunity is and what it is. But in terms of like the highest impact, we're going to want to match it with a Google feature. So what Google features do those schema types, what Google feature are those schema types eligible for? What content do you need to add for a Google feature? So taking product as an example, the product's rich result has a number of required and recommended properties, as they all do. And we're going to need to be able to have that on our web page. We need the name, reviews, ratings, the offers and prices, the brand, a description, the image, and so on. But once you go through and add that, you're going to have a great list of features that are eligible for these URLs, for these things, for that part of your business. Now, all of this is sort of a play between your business goals, your schema and overall SEO strategy, and your available content. And remember that third step I said was looking at what's available versus what you have. And so if we go back and look at the available rich results, there's something missing from our list here. Video replays. A whole section of the Guelph Storm site is around videos, and we can escalate or better show those in search as well. So that's where you want to identify what you're looking for, see what rich results it's eligible for, and then look and see what rich results are available from Google and make sure you have content for them. Now, we're going to be going through next, looking at how to author markup and how to ensure that it's deploying correctly in the maintenance of your markup once you have your schema strategies. So go to the bottom of our homepage, subscribe, request a demo, talk to us about what you're looking for. If you're just starting out with schema, we can help. If you're more advanced, then book maybe a planning session with our sales team and we can talk about delivering on those goals for you. We also have a whole bunch of resources. If you want to learn about some advanced functions of schema markup, we can help you there as well. But for now, let's leave it to our question and answers and talk through building a schema strategy for you.